from Royal Communications Incorporated. Good evening and welcome to King's News Broom 45 minute news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Today is Wednesday, July 30, 2025, and I'm Shemodia presenting. In the headlines, one police officer plus three others, including a handcuffed suspect, died in tragic motorbike accident along the Saclipia Ganta Highway. Government of Liberia issues open apologies to the government and people of Guinea over police assault and forceful removal of hijab from a Fulani woman during alleged power theft arrest. In also the news tonight, Congress for Democratic Change rejects eviction from party headquarters, cite existing seal agreement it has with property owner. Away from home, Tanzania has barred foreign nationals from owning and operating mainly small-scale businesses, sparking concern and backlash from neighboring Kenya. Police in Angola say 5 people, including a police officer, have been killed and more than 1,200 have been arrested after demonstrations in the capital. These plus the news bulletin, voices of those making the news at our package. We'll take a short break to be right back. Welcome back and thanks for being there at this juncture with John Semanjus with the news bulletin.
A tragic motor accident involving a police officer from Tapeta Police Department, a handcuffed suspect, and a motorcyclist has left at least 4 persons reportedly dead along Saclipia Ganta Highway. The incident occurred Wednesday near Loyi Town Bridge in Nima County, while the officer was reportedly transporting the suspect to Saninquele on a commercial motorbike. According to unconfirmed report from local sources, the suspect, who was handcuffed at the time, allegedly attempted to escape as they were crossing the bridge. The suspect's sudden movement is believed to have destabilized the motorbike, causing it to crash and sending all 3 individuals onto the pavement with significant force. Local residents expressed shock over the incident, questioning why a police officer would transport a suspect on a commercial motorbike without proper security arrangements. The use of commercial motorbikes by law enforcement officers for official duty, especially those involving criminal suspects, raises renewed concerns about operational standards, officer training, and public safety. With the region still reeling from the incident, there are growing calls for the Ministry of Justice and the Liberia National Police to review and reform transport protocols for detainees, particularly in rural counties where resources may be limited, but the risks are no less severe. The Liberian government has apologized to the government of Guinea following the allegation of police brutality involving a Guinean national, a Fula woman. The incident, reportedly linked to a dispute over power theft, sparked widespread regional violence after a video showing the alleged assault by officers of the Liberia National Police went viral. In a statement released through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the government expressed deep regret over the incident and reaffirmed its commitment to maintaining strong and enduring diplomatic ties with Guinea. As part of its response to the incidents, the Liberian government, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, dispatched a high-level diplomatic delegation to Conakry to engage with Guinean authorities and provide assurances of the government's commitment to justice and accountability. The leadership of the Congress for Democratic Change has rejected their eviction from the late Martha Stopperfield property that is hosting the party headquarters in Congo Town with a motion to dismiss. Recently, the property owner, lawyer Johnny Momo, filed a tax court petition to the 6th Judicial Circuit Court, Montserrat County, known as the Civil Law Court, for summary proceedings to recover possession of real property. The petition is seeking CDC removal from the property following the Supreme Court's judgment. CDC lead lawyer Thomas Jangba questioned Councillor Momo's petition to the court to remove CDC from the property, saying there is an existing sale agreement between the two parties, which was acknowledged by the Supreme Court of Liberia on May 28. Councillor Jagba said, due to the arrangement for the purchase of the property in question, they filed a petition for specific performance that is currently pending before the court for determination. As such, the eviction as fixed subject for dismissal in keeping with law. Liberia's former Solicitor General, Serenian Cephas, has criticized former President George Weah and his administration for what he described as failure to support party loyalists and compromising of Liberia's foreign policy. In a statement released Wednesday, Councillor Cephas, who served as Solicitor General during the Weah-led government, accused the former president of operating under the illusion of seeking experts while awarding key contracts to foreign nationals at the expense of CDC partisans and supporters. Serena Cephas further alleged that many senior officials, including former President Weah, spent much of their time engaging in gossip, spreading falsehoods, and undermining people who did not share their views. The former Solicitor General said the former administration failed to prioritize infrastructure development, arguing that the neglect contributed significantly to Liberia's ongoing challenges. He maintained that his alignment with the Weah government, which he now views as failure, limits his authority to criticize the UP government. President Joseph Boakai has called on Liberians to seek guidance in fostering unity and sustaining peace across the country. Speaking Wednesday at Airport Baptist Church in Painesville during the observance of the National Day of Prayer, President Boakai underscored the importance of collective prayer. According to him, divine intervention is essential to national progress and unity. He urged Liberians to unite their hearts and lift their voices to God for the nation's continued growth and stability. President Boakai added that Liberia cannot achieve meaningful development without God's presence and guidance. He warned that efforts to move the country forward will remain limited unless rooted in spiritual commitment and national solidarity, among others. The president also termed the proclamation of the National Day of Prayer and its observance as a step towards nation building through unity and commitment. In a move aimed at strengthening the marginal organizational structure of the Citizens Movement for Change, the party's political leader, Representative Musa Bility, has announced a series of key appointments within the CMC. These appointments, which take immediate effect, are intended to solidify CMC presence across Liberia and enhance its grassroots operation. According to a release from the party's secretariat, the appointments are part of an ongoing effort to decentralize leadership and promote effective political engagement in all regions and counties of the country. Among the notable appointments are Yatupa, Regional Coordinator for Region 3, Bong Lofa and Nima counties under the National Women's Congress, Salia Ducle, Chair of Bombing County Chapter, and Cecilia Duncan, Chair of Grand Jita County Chapter, among others. Representative Bility commended the newly appointed officials for their willingness to serve and urged them to uphold the party's values, transparency, accountability, and grassroots participation. A devastating fire engulfed a 14-bedroom residential house in the telecom community of Painesville City, leaving several tenants homeless and causing extensive property damage. According to eyewitness accounts, the blaze broke out unexpectedly and caught residents off guard. Many tenants were unable to salvage their belongings, resulting in significant personal and material losses. Eyewitnesses further alleged that despite repeated calls for assistance, firefighters failed to respond to the emergency. In the absence of official intervention, members of the community rallied to help affected residents and attempted to recover any remaining valuables from the blazing fire. The cause of the fire remains unknown, and no injury or fatality were reported. An employee of Diamond Mineral Water Company, Jimama Jumbo, has alleged that she was coerced into sexual relationship by the company human resource manager as a condition for employment. Speaking in an interview Wednesday, Jimama Jumbo claimed she was pressured into their relationship out of desperation to provide for her children. According to her, the relationship began before she was officially employed, but later attempted to end it due to the human resource manager marital status. She asserted that after she ended the relationship, she was asked to leave the company. Jimama Jomo is calling on authorities to investigate the matter and hold those responsible accountable. After the time of the publication, Diamond Mineral Company has not responded publicly to the allegations. The technical advisor to the Director General at the Center for National Documents and Records Agency of Liberia is appealing to the government to incorporate volunteer public school teachers on government payroll. According to Ebenezer Bubba, teachers who are providing knowledge and impacting future generations must be prioritized for the betterment of the country's education system. Speaking at the 61st graduation ceremony of Emmanuel Johnson High School in Newcrewtown, Mr. Bubba urged students to commit themselves to learning and discipline. He observed that it is a serious problem and heartbreaking to have volunteer teachers struggling to earn a daily meal for services they provide. The Prison Fellowship Liberia, with funding from Prison Fellowship International, has ended a one-day roundtable discussion aimed at providing refreshed training for 70 of its monitors. Prison Fellowship Liberia, in collaboration with Prison Fellowship International, has reportedly been offering scholarships to children of inmates in prisons in 9 of the 15 subpolitical divisions of the country. Speaking in an interview in Painesville Wednesday, the fellowship country director, Pastor Francis Colley, disclosed that the training is intended to prepare the monitors for the recruitment of 500 students of children of inmates so as to ensure that they are not molested and their rights are not violated. A man identified as Thomas Simmons, alias Chuck Wrist, has been arrested for reportedly selling the late Thomas Simmons' property without the approval of the administrators of the properties consistent with law. The overseers of the late Thomas Simmons' properties, Patricia Wellibo, Simmons Dixon, and 3 others, have warned individuals purchasing lands from Thomas Simmons to desist or risk criminal prosecution. According to them, Thomas Simmons is not the administrator of their late father properties and maintain that those doing business with him are doing so at their own risk. Criminal Court A has issued an arrest warrant for 4 students of the University of Liberia for refusing to come under the jurisdiction of the Court for Criminal Prosecution. The students are Stephen Broom, Momo Botel, Christian Bryant, and Obadiah Jala, all from the Student Unification Party. Judge Roosevelt Willis' action was triggered by James Washington, president of LINSU, and Dara Stowe, Secretary General of LINSU, alleged refusal to surrender them to the court for prosecution after the 2 student leaders served as sureties for them on June 12, with a written agreement to turn them over when they are needed by the court. The 4 UF students have since been indicted by the grand jury of Montserrado County in connection to the March 18 incident at the Liberia Football Association, but are yet to be served with their sealed indictment. And Broom County Service Center is said to be facing major operational challenges resulting to ineffectiveness and lack of viability of the center. Challenges faced by the center were disclosed by the coordinator of Broom County Service Center, Tower Johnson. The center was established to decentralize services to the people of Broom, but the coordinator said that although many government services were placed under the county service center during its establishment, several of those services remain inaccessible to citizens. According to him, the Ministry of Transport, which should provide essential services to residents, is yet to establish its branch in the county since the center was open. He noted that although the Ministry of Public Works is at the service center, its operations are far below expectation.
Sam and Juice with the news bulletin. The news bulletin is a regular feature on King's News Broom. A reminder you're listening to King's News Broom, 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, in our one word. Stories we following tonight: one police officer plus 3 others, including a handcuffed suspect, died in tragic motorbike accident along the Saclipia-Ganta Highway. Government of Liberia issues open apologies to the government and people of Guinea over police assault and forceful removal of hijab from a Fulani woman during alleged power theft arrest. And also in the news tonight, Congress for Democratic Change rejects evasion from party headquarters, cites existing seal agreement it has with the property owner. Away from home, Tanzania has barred foreign nationals from owning and operating nearly small-scale businesses, sparking concern and a backlash from neighboring Kenya. Police in Angola say 5 people, including the police officer, have been killed and more than 1,200 have been arrested after demonstrations in the capital. We'll take a break to be right back with voices of the newsmakers. Welcome back and thanks for being there. President Joseph Boakai has called on Liberians to see God's guardians in fostering unity and sustaining peace across the nation. Speaking on Wednesday at Effort Baptist Church in Pinsway during observance of the National Day of Prayer declared by the Liberian leader earlier, he underscored the importance of collective prayer. According to him, divine intervention is essential to national progress and unity.
Country that we concern about. And after all, I went beyond the jubilee of celebration of the friends where there's a need to thank God for giving us the opportunity to understand the decisions we are taking. Maybe some people think that we just think about the God, speak to the people, and we know that sometimes we are put together on decisions that we don't want to make for us. Put together the need, the heart of prayer. We were not for God. We know we only want to do it like prayer. And maybe we don't know that it works. See what is happening. See the transformation. See people that have people call from all over the celebration of the 6 hours. What I think about the Northern Scripture, people who are called by my name, they can just call that name because they exist. There are all those people who care about him. You may not see them in the street, but I think before we came, there were people at the circle. We stopped there and watched it. We didn't really think of what we see and is happening in the country. We have ignorance for a long time. but a broader racial understanding. People who are suffering in sometimes because it is not others. People who have left this country seeking better life. Some of them are not really getting better life, but they are much better than we did. And so today we feel that with all that we've done, we should truly meet the system now. We're not going to do it, and we say thanks to God.
President Joseph Boakai there speaking. Broom County Service Center is said to be fixing major operational challenges resulting to ineffectiveness and lack of viability of the center. Challenges faced by the center were disclosed by the coordinator of the Broom County Service Center, Tower Johnson. The center was established to decentralize services to the people of Broom, but the coordinator said that although many government services were placed under the county service center during its establishment, several of those services remain inaccessible to citizens.
The government put a lot of services under the county service center from the initial stage, but a lot of them are now working. We have a good number of them under Ministry of Transport. Unfortunately, since the county service center was established, Ministry of Transport had not been in Broom County, and they got a lot of services. That is one of the mass that should bring a lot of revenue to this county. Public works is there, but some of them they're not active as they should. For example, the Ministry of Public Works. Public Works is supposed to be here to give construction certificates to organizations that want to get engaged into construction in order that, but that had not been. The Ministry of Labor also is supposed to provide ECOWAS biometric ID card for ECOWAS citizens. They're also supposed to provide a work permit for aliens. But what we realize all the time and even now is that these aliens, instead of doing the registration here, they go to town because labor said they have an entity, a contract group that is responsible to do all of those. So they are based in Monrovia, they do not have representation here. So it becomes very difficult to do the registration here and then go in Monrovia. So these are the challenges we face, and we've already started discussing them with the Ministry of Internal Affairs. And Ministry of Internal Affairs coordinate the interministerial committee meeting on decentralization. So we are hopeful that these challenges will be taken there and then they will discuss them and find a way out, because are issues that need to be addressed if the service center has to be viable and provide the needed kind of services to our people.
Coordinator of Broom County Service Center, Tower Johnson. An employee of Diamond Mineral Water Company, Jemima Jumbo, has alleged that she was coerced into a sexual relationship by the company human resource manager as a condition for employment. Speaking in an interview Wednesday, Jemima Jumbo claimed she was pressured into the relationship out of desperation to provide for her children.
I came here for a job. Someone sent me to him. Who said that I will yes, they sent me to him for a job. When I came to see the only way he will give me the job, they said he sleep with me. And the only way he will ever will give me the job. So I told gosh, anytime I have for work, he will not call me inside. He said the thing I want for me. I do it before I start with it. I said I get my children to the house. They need to go to school. I just say people do nothing to do. So I was just forced to give myself to him, but it was not slept with me. It's like HR dating here.
So you had to sleep with Moses because of job.
Yeah, Moses slept with me for a job. So even after we slept and he gave me the job, so I decided to tell him, say that the relationship is so because you married. So let it be so. He said once I'm in the dating here, if I want for the relationship to be so, then which means he will take me from out of job. And on the line about sacking people like ever, he can sack any hour, any minute. So I said I will at first so I can't lose my job. So I did there in it. When you don't enter, I decided to tell him I not need a relationship. So I told him more management and I'm in a relationship again. I keep tasting for him. But each time when I come into work, he will wait for me. On the road, he will ask me for him myself to go sleep. And then he say he must move for him. So the guy that next to him, they call him Joseph Blake. He asked Joseph Blake to beg me for him myself to go. But I tell him, say he should move for Miami. So I will not get me. On April 29, because I said it is. The 29 of April, he asked me. I tell him, say no. So I keep on work. On second shift. So the person the police they hire the police. She clean the place. So I was asking my supervisor, so Michael, I said, oh Michael, why they hire like you? Why you keep putting Isa? Then the one I don't know the well I never keep put Isa. And what made me say, I'm gonna in the morning for they hire like you well. Isa. So I decided to leave. When I was supervisor, I think the lady now, she asked the same question, so I left me. I started working. While working, he came to me with a job. I said, today you teach me also, I'm on no job. I left me. After I finished working, I went on the workshop, working on the workshop. I saw him and the women pour the king. Then they asked me, I small to already go clean okay now. Such a Marco, the person in the bathroom and they clean okay now. Sleeping the different to person they tell me to okay now. So if you want to see me, we just send me. I want to.
Cheese. Jemima Jumbo, an employee of the Diamond Mineral Water Company, alleging the human resource manager of coercing her into sexual relationship. Meanwhile, as of the time of airing, Diamond Mineral Water Company has not publicly responded to the allegations made against the HR. A devastating fire engulfed a 14-bedroom residential home in the telecom community of Painesville, leaving several tenants homeless and causing extensive property damage. According to eyewitnesses, the blaze broke out unexpectedly and caught residents off guard. Many tenants were unable to salvage their belongings, resulting in significant personal and material losses.
So we're still looking at the
Voices of affected residents of the telecom community in Painesville City. A reminder, you listen to King's News, Broom 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one word. Stories we follow in tonight: one police officer plus 3 others, including a handcuffed suspect, died in tragic motorbike accident along Encyclopedia Gunter Highway. Government of Liberia issues open apologies to the government and people of Guinea over police assault and forceful removal of hijab from a Fulani woman during alleged power theft arrest. Congress for Democratic Change rejects evasion from party headquarters, cites existing seal agreement it has with property owner. Away from home, Tanzania has barred foreign nationals from owning and operating many small-scale businesses, sparking concern and backlash from neighboring Kenya. Police in Angola say 5 people, including a police officer, have been killed and more than 1,200 have been arrested after demonstrations in the capital. We'll take a break to continue with more voices. Welcome back and thanks for being there. The technical advisor told the Director General at the Center for National Documents and Records Agency of Liberia is appealing to the government to incorporate volunteer public school teachers on the government paid role. According to Ebenezer Bobo, teachers who are providing knowledge and imparting the future generation must be prioritized for the betterment of the country's educational system. Speaking at the 61st graduation ceremony of the Emmanuel Debbie Johnson Junior High School, Nickel Town, Bobo urged students to commit themselves to learning and discipline for everyone.
To commit yourself to the process of learning, to exercise discipline, to respect one another and respect those that are older than you. Mutual respect for one another is a recipe for peace. When we respect one another, we can live in harmony. We can live a peaceful life. It behooves you as students to be humble and committed to your studies. Be courageous. Motivate yourself. Do not discourage yourself. Do not be distracted by those who try to discourage you from pursuing your dreams. Do not allow that to happen. Because as you seek education, you are working towards a better future for tomorrow. You are under obligation and compulsion to contribute to your community, to contribute to your society, and to contribution in general. They are still struggling to get on payroll. When teachers are struggling to get on payroll for services rendered, it's a serious problem. The government needs to look in that direction to see how the rest of volunteer teachers can be incorporated. Because if a teacher is not paid after rendering services at the end of the month, he's just corrupted. That teacher will not conform to ethics. That teacher will not conform to values. That teacher will not conform to principles. Please, we are calling on the government of Liberia through the Ministry of Education to do whatever it takes to ensuring that our teachers who are serving our volunteers are incorporated and placed on payroll because they have the respective families to look after. They need to survive. They need to live. They need to be encouraged for the services rendered in the pattern knowledge to our younger generation. Most of our teachers are corrupted. They cannot find a way out. At the end of the year, the month after rendering services, nothing is fulfilled. That's a bad thing. This happening, let's go and look in that direction and make sure.
He's the technical advisor to the Director General at the Center for National Records and Agency of Liberia, Ebenezer Bobo. The Prison Fellowship Liberia, with funding from the Prison Fellowship International, has ended a one-day roundtable discussion aimed at providing refresher training for 70 of its monitors. Speaking in an interview in Paisley on Wednesday, the fellowship country director, Reverend Francis Colley, disclosed that the training is intended to prepare the monitors for the recruitment of 500 students.
You're going to be working with corrections officers. You're going to be working with prison superintendents, because those are ones that you're going to interact with them to give you the permission to work, to interview inmates, to give their children names or child's name or the guardian's name and all of that. It's going to be a huge work for you. It is a voluntary service that you're going to provide. This is one way that you're going to serve your country and its people. We want to, of course, say bravo to the Ministry of Education for some policies that have been changed and new policies that have been added to the old policies in the educational sector. Childhood development programs and the Ministry of Education have quite enhanced for our country. Is a plus. We're going to be working with those partners, the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Gender and Social Protections, Health Ministry, and those are people that we're going to be working with, because when a child gets sick, they have to go to hospital. Even though we have a portion that will cater to children that get sick and that will be going to hospital. The rights of the children are very important. You know, the child's right laws guarantees, those that work with children, you must have that at the back of your mind. And we're going to be talking about that, the right of a child, because one of the rights of the child is education. You need to know that. You need to get it at the fingertip. How you're going to be dealing with the children, their rights, how they experience where child was being tempered with by one of the teachers, and we told that issue very, very drastically, and thank God the law took its course. Those are things that you're going to be monitoring. You're going to be monitoring the violation of the child or the children's right. if they're in school, whether teachers are violating their right, because right now some community you have sex for grades and all this kind of stuff, and you got to really keep your eyes on those things. And child labors, you're going to be checking on that very, very much. Some communities in the interiors, some they carry the children on the farm to work for the teacher, to make fun for the teacher. Those are things that are violation of the child or of the children. So those are things that you're going to be capturing to give us feedback at headquarters, so that we can engage national institutions to make sure that these things are non encouraged in our community.
He's Reverend Francis Colley, Country Director of Prison Fellowship, Liberia. A 3-day youth gender mainstreaming training of trainers workshop is currently underway in Bangabon County, bringing together youth leaders from 4 counties in Liberia. Remarking at the opening of the workshop, YMCA project coordinator Maurice Kamara emphasized the importance of youth involvement in advancing gender equality. He acknowledged the participants that the YMCA will rely on them to replicate similar training with community leaders and their peers across the counties.
Empower them to become trainers in those areas also and come back and done with it. So that's what the COB came about. So at the level of the CPS level that we are now, we are the professionals to lead different trainings with different NGOs and all of them. In general, we know you understand that you've done it before, but we want to look at it again in a different form. That's what I'll put our idea together and see. If we say gender mainstream, what is it? The key concept on this area. How can we integrate gender into our policies, systems, and operations as we go ahead working as an institution? YMCA, how do YMCA integrate gender into our different programs and our policies documents? What does YMCA say when it comes to gender issues? You want to look at it. Does somebody will ask you a question also? Want to do it on safe and safe space. How do you consider it? A BNC, a staff member, being with an unusual person at an unusual place at an unusual time. How do you consider that? So, and that was something we take into consideration. So we do, and then we'll go briefly into advocacy and communication. We'll talk about advocacy skill for young people. Key concept on that. We'll talk about the type of advocacy, policies, community we do. We have to first identify what we do, identify the issue, know your goal, what you want to achieve, what you want to change, and say what will you do.
Away from home, Tanzania has barred foreign nationals from owning and operating many small-scale businesses, sparking concern and backlash from neighboring Kenya. The new directive prohibits them from 15 sectors, including mobile money transfers, 12 garden, small-scale mining, a farm, crop buying, beauty salons, serious shops, and establishing radio and TV operations. Trade Minister Jaffo explains that foreigners had increasingly become involved in the informal sector in areas better filled by Tanzanians. And police in Angola say 5 people, including the police officer, have been killed and more than 1,200 have been arrested after demonstrations in the capital. What began as a 3-day strike by taxi drivers against rising petroleum prices has escalated into one of the most widespread and disruptive waves of protest the country has seen in recent years. Thousands of people joined demonstrations in the capital on Monday that saw roads blocked, shops looted, cars destroyed, as well as clashes between demonstrators and police. The police also reported attempted demonstrations and looting in the provinces of Local in Bengal, which they now say have been contained. Well, on that note, that's how we come to the near end of this edition of King's News Broom. But before we leave, a quick reminder of stories we followed in the headlines. One police officer plus 3 others, including a handcuffed suspect, died in tragic motorbike accident along the Saklepia Ganta Highway. Government of Liberia issues open apologies to the government and people of Guinea over police assault and forceful removal of hijab from a Fulani woman during alleged power theft arrest. You also heard in the news Congress for Democratic Change rejects evasion from party headquarters, cites existing seal agreement it has with property owner. Away from home, Tanzania has barred foreign nationals from owning and operating nearly small-scale businesses, sparking concern and backlash from neighboring Kenya. Police in Angola say 5 people, including an officer, have been killed and more than 1,200 have been arrested after demonstrations in the capital. Many thanks to our reporters, correspondents, and all those who helped in making this edition of King's Newsroom a success. Sam Andrews brought you the news bulletin. Nathan Topa sat at control and handled the technical aspect of this edition. On behalf of the team, I'm Shemon Dale. I presented. Thanks for listening and watching.